Hello, people. It's Jenny here doing an update on how my diet's going. Um, if you have a chance, go ahead and click the like button below and subscribe. And that just helps more people see these videos and pop up. It makes me happy when somebody's like, I was just scrolling and this video popped up. I don't know how, but um, this is not a monetized site, so I don't care about it in terms of monetary payment. It just makes me happy to know that if I'm taking the time to make a video that more than one person's going to see it. All right. So it's been a while since I've seen you. I told you I was going out of town um, for the weekend, and I did. Went to visit my son at Bowling Green State University for Parents Weekend. Had a lovely time. And yeah, it was good. Um, and was at the mercy of eating the food that was there. No, I did not just pack my own HCG food because I'm not that person. I knew I was going to get free breakfasts at the hotel. I knew that I was going to get free pizza and pie with the president. I knew that we were going to eat in the dining hall to listen to the dueling pianos, which was really funny. Two guys with an amazing talent. It wasn't kind of dueling pianos like I'm used to. I'm used to just like classical piano dueling where they kind of like play off each other. This was literally, I don't know why they call it dueling pianos. It was two pianos, two guys with amazing voices and incredible talent just playing requests. And of course, it was Parents' Weekend, so there were a lot of songs from the 70s and 80s that they put in there. And so it was sing along kind of songs, and the whole cafeteria was singing for a lot of them, and it was just a lot of fun. So, anyway, that was open dining hall. And yeah, those were the kind of like food opportunities that were there. And then I had told my son a while ago that when we came up for Parents' Weekend, I would take him for ice cream again. I came this close to bypassing the ice cream and saying no because ice cream isn't really one of my weaknesses. However, we weren't going to have lunch that day. We decided to I was going to have lunch and then forfeit the ice cream. But we ended up not having lunch because nobody was really hungry, but everyone's like, yeah, ice cream would still be good. So I did the ice cream in lieu of lunch. It was not, but let me tell you, the reason why I did it too. And again, normally I could just bypass it and say I'll just skip it and wait until dinner later. But they had a flavor called amaretto cherry, and it had bits of chocolate in it. So it was kind of like a chocolate cherry ice cream, or bits of maraschino cherries, bits of pieces of dark chocolate in it. But the overall base was amaretto, and amaretto is like my favorite liquor to drink. I love an amaretto sour. I love amaretto on the rocks. I just love amaretto, and so I was just like, oh. And let me tell you, it was worth it. It was worth it. Pay the price. My whole plan was okay, I know my weight's going to go up, obviously. Um, I didn't snack between anything. When we went to Drag Queen Bingo, another activity that was there that was a lot of fun, um, they had a full nacho bar, nacho chips, taco meat, cheeses, salsa, I mean everything. I had none of it. So I did make some good choices. I bought no snack food in between. I ate nothing in between. So I did some things that were okay. And I kept thinking in my head, as long as I stay under a 5 pound gain for the 3 days, because I knew water retention was going to be part of the gain, I can be okay and get myself back on track. And when I got on the scale um, Sunday morning, the end of the weekend, I had gained 1.9. So I was so proud of myself. Everybody else is like, that's an epic failure, Jenny. But you know what? I know me. And I knew going into it. I just didn't. I don't even like try to fool myself anymore into saying, "Oh, I'm gonna eat right." I took no HCG drops. Started back up when I got home. Um, but yeah, yeah, 1.9 gain. So I was back on track yesterday. I mean, I started that So Sunday I started with the drops. Today's Monday. And today I got on the scale and it said minus zero point 0.9. All right, so I'm just a pound up right now. So my goal is to get that pound off by tomorrow. So it was really just, kind of like 2 days of adjustment for the 3 days of poor eating, and then that would make me happy. Now, that being said, I am in a diet weight loss challenge and I have 4 days to lose at this point because I still have an extra pound to lose 6.7 pounds, which I'm not going to do. But I know that that's the first day of my weigh in, and I actually have a 2 week weigh in period. So I have 2 weeks and 4 days to lose 6.7 pounds. I can do that. I can do that. I can be good and I can do that. I would love to be able to do it in less than a week, but I don't see that happening. Now, that being said, I have both kids coming home for fall break, or both, two of my three, because my other child is not in college, but my two college students are both coming home this weekend, and that's going to make it a little bit trickier, but I'm not going to use that excuse this time because I will be home. And it's not like they're here for like a 2 week period of time where we might be going out and doing different things. It's mostly going to be at home. We will have one day at the amusement park for 12 hours, from noon until, well, actually, we'll leave the house at 9 o'clock in the morning and not get home until about 1:30 in the evening, in the next morning, I should say, because the park closes at midnight. So, that'll be a little bit of a challenge, but I'll see what I can do about packing just the right things, and just stay with the plan. It's my plan. It's my plan. Okay, so there we go. There's my life for you: the good, the bad, the ugly. So, you know what? I knew going into it the weight was going to go up. I was accepting that and willing to jump back on the wagon when I was done. And sometimes you just have to do that to make things doable and to not spend your entire life banging yourself on the head, because my weight, like this. Sometimes what's nice is to keep a log and a chart of your weight, because in my chart where I know I have 6.7 more pounds to lose in this contest, I also have my weight listed in there. I have how much I've lost since yesterday. I have how much I've lost in this particular round, which this is day 16 of round 3, P2. And I've lost 6.5 pounds so far. Actually, I'd lost 7.5, but had that little go up and then have to come back down. And then overall, since I started HCG, and let me scroll back up and see if I have the date here. It was April. So in April, beginning of April, and this is now October. That's 6, right? Yeah, that's 6 months. In 6 months' time, I have lost 25.7 pounds. I mean, I can't argue with those numbers. I really can't. 53 of those days, I was just in P3 and maintained my weight during that time. So it wasn't a constant try to lose weight the entire time that I was doing it. But you know what, you have to, these charts sometimes really help you, so that normally in the past I would come back from a weekend like this and go, yeah, I blew it again, 2 pounds. I wouldn't even look at 1.9 and be happy that it starts with a 1. I'd be like, I gained 2 pounds. I'm so bad. What's wrong with me? How come I can never stick with the diet? What's my problem? And I'm just learning not to do that anymore and to just go with it and to celebrate the little victories. All right, so in the past 16 days, I lost another 6.5 pounds. I lost 7.5, but at this point, I'm at 6.5 pounds lost in 16 days. And I will lose more because I have another 6.7 pounds to lose in the next 16 days. Almost exactly, right? So as long as I don't have like a fall off the wagon, eat all kinds of carbs and ice cream kind of weekend, I should be okay. The only thing that worries me a little bit is that I'm smaller now than I was before. 26 pounds more Jenny could find it easier to lose a pound here and a half a pound there and three quarters of a pound there than Jenny, who is 26 pounds lighter. I tried to look up online to see like really good information about the science of it all. And you know what, I didn't really find anything earth shattering. The bottom line comes down to the fact that when you are heavier and you're moving around, your body, well, even if you're not moving around, just the functioning of your organs and everything, when you are heavier, you need more calories to do the same thing, the same amount of energy that you would do when you were lighter. Okay, I explained that really poorly. So if one person goes for a walk for 30 minutes at 200 pounds, and the next person goes on the same walk at 150 pounds, the person who weighs 200 pounds at the end of the 30-minute walk going the exact same pace and rate is going to burn more calories than the person who is lighter at that weight. Thus, the more you lose weight, the more difficult it is to lose weight. And so what do you do then? Well, one thing is you can up your movement. Now, on HCG, you're not supposed to be doing strenuous exercise, but that doesn't mean that you can't do some mild, it certainly doesn't mean that you can't move and that you can't go for walks. You can. You can even go for light jogs if you want to. I hate jogging, so I'm not going to be doing that. But you can do that too. You can even do a little bit of light weights, but I wouldn't do weights because well, for me, I'm not going to do weights because I'm literally in a weight loss challenge and it doesn't really matter how fit I am as opposed to how much fat I am and what the scale reflects. So building muscle at this point in the juncture for me is not smart, even though when you have muscle, it burns, the resting calories that it burns is greater than having fat. But I don't want to play around with that right now. You're not supposed to be doing really strenuous weightlifting anyway, but I'm just talking light weights, like you have a 3 to 5 pound weight in each hand and you just do like some arm curls or push them up or, down the back, whatever, or do some, use them and do some lunges and all that. I think all that's fine when you're doing HCG. It really comes down to how much energy do you have? And then don't kill yourself. Because I find, depending on the day on HCG, that some days I wake up feeling like I ran a freaking marathon and I'm exhausted and I'm weak and I'm tired. And it's really not until I eat the next meal that adjusts. So sometimes it does affect me that way. I don't necessarily feel hungry, but I feel sort of weak and lethargic. I don't even want to say tired. I don't even think it's tired. It's just weak. That there are times that I'm weak. I will say that right now, I apologize. I have some cat hair in my eyes. There are some times that I enjoy that feeling because I feel like my body's weak. Why is my body weak? Because my body is using its fat reserves for energy. So then it kind of makes me feel like, I'm losing weight. So I'm not completely against the feeling anymore that I used to be like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. But I will say the number of times that happens is more far and few between. Most of the time, I feel fine and I have plenty of energy to do anything that I need to do in the day. And it's not really a situation like that. So what to do at the very end? Increase your exercise is one of the main recommendations that people said. And then the rest of it really kind of comes down to diet. And if we're doing HCG, we're on a pretty restricted diet anyway. So I guess it's a matter of you really don't want to make yourself by any means eat less than the 500 calories that are on the diet. Although it does say if you are not hungry, you don't have to eat that 500 calories because the HCG drops are allowing your body to go ahead and use its fat reserves. But you shouldn't get to that weak point um, like I did. Um, all right, so any other suggestions that it had? Let me scan over the most everything. You know, step up your exercise, watch your food, protein shakes. Like a lot of this stuff isn't going to apply to us. I find it interesting, the very first thing that it mentioned, though, and I forgot that this was in there because this is what I started talking about today. The very first thing it says is acknowledge how far you've come. That's what I did at the beginning of this video, didn't I? Oh, I should write these blogs. um, yeah, acknowledge how far you've come. Number two is stay on track on the weekend. So there you go. I just blew that last weekend. But I will be on track this coming weekend. Even though I will have two children here in my home and the temptations will be grand, I will stay on track. One of the other recommendations is make your main meal lunch, which I found was interesting. And I thought it had something to do with, not eating too close to bedtime and burning off the calories before you go to bed. And, they always say that in diet in general, it's better to have more calories earlier and start to burn them off and not go to bed on a fuller stomach because your metabolism slows down while you sleep. So you'd rather, ideally, you'd rather go to bed almost on the verge of being hungry, but not being hungry. But you know what I mean? Like not being full at all because you're asleep. So if you feel like eating, it doesn't really matter. You're asleep. And you wake up in the morning and then go ahead and have something. Or if you're someone like me, you get up and you start teaching classes and you do different things. And before you know it, it's noon anyway. And it's like, okay, it's time to eat anyway. So that's really the ideal situation right there. Not everyone can do it, and I understand that. And the way my life goes, I'm done eating by 7 for sure every day. It's usually somewhere between 3 and 5 that I have my meal, and as you know, I only eat one meal a day. My cat's seeing a bird out the window and wants to pounce. Hope she doesn't hurt herself and jumping into the screen again. All right. All right, so a little bit of blabber here and a little bit of blabber there. Basically, give yourself a little bit of grace when you're getting to the end of this diet because you're not going to lose like you did at the very beginning. And that's just a fact, unfortunately. Also, getting near the end of a cycle is where I also tend to see more plateaus happen. And then I get out of it at the very end, which makes me think, ooh, should I stay doing this diet a little bit longer? And if I hit another plateau, then I'm like, yeah, no, I'm done. So I find about 3/4 of the way through is where my plateaus start to happen. So stick with the plan, understand that you're not alone, and the weight will come on if you just stick with it. You just stick with it. You are not going to continue to be on HCG and eat 500 calories a day and never lose weight again. That's not going to happen. You are going to lose. And if you find yourself at a major plateau and you've gone 2 weeks and you haven't lost anything and you've been perfectly good the entire time, I say abort. Abort HCG. Let your body get off of it and be off of it for a significant period of time. And do calorie counting in the meantime. Try to eat P3 if you can before you get back on it again. Just kind of give your body that little bit of a kickstart and to change a little bit because some other research in the past that I've read has also showed that if you stick too close to the same foods all the time, your body kind of gets used to it and gets used to this is what our food source is, so this is what we need to live on, and your metabolism can slow down if you're not changing it up. Now, that being said, on this article, when it's like how to lose more, they say stick with the set thing because you know exactly how many calories you're getting. So, you can look at everything either way, quite frankly. They recommended 2 of your meals be protein shakes because you know exactly how many calories are in those protein shakes and you can monitor things closer. And of course, other suggestions they had were like, don't eat out, eat in your home, you have more control. A lot of these are just the obvious things that you need to go through. So, yeah, here we go. Here we go. I will most likely be doing this for another 2 weeks. because even after I hit my goal weight, I would love to see myself lose 4 more pounds because it puts me into another second number. When that second number changes, it's significant. And if I lose 4 more after I lose these six, so if I lose 10 pounds, I can be in a second number category. Actually, about 9 pounds I have to lose to get into that second number area. And that would make me feel really good to do that. So I think I might be around with you for a bit longer. We'll see. Classes have started back up. The week of China being on holiday is done, so I will be here more often after my classes, posting videos, and I will see you next time. Good luck on your journey. Let me know how you're doing. Take care. Bye.